Excuse me, Mr. DJ.
Hey, check this out. We got a great show coming your way.
From the ECSI Sports Studios, it's the Midday Market Report with Jeff Dawson.
Good afternoon, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors, and this is your closing bell for Thursday, December 22nd, 2022. Just 2 days till Christmas Eve, 3 days till Christmas. Riley, big storm, I guess, heading his way, and then for us locally, 2-3 inches of rain, 67-mile-an-hour wind, and then you wake up Saturday morning and it's 7 degrees. What a damn country. But everyone out there in the elements, snow, rain, sleet, wind, just be careful, be safe. Everyone's in a hurry to go nowhere. And that's what causes chaos, accidents, you name it. And never mind in our lanes. There's always accidents. There's always chaos. But most people in these lanes enjoy that. That's why they're here. But it's our job to keep you out of there, keep you away from the chaos. So without further ado, let's bring him in from Chi-Town himself, the one and only, Mr. Riley Magnuson. Good afternoon, Riley.
Afternoon, my friend. Happy Thursday. Happy almost Christmas. Yeah, you said it. I am already in the midst of this. I don't know if it's a snowstorm you can call it yet, but the snow is coming down here in the Windy City. So if I have any issues and get booted out, it's because my internet's struggling. But as long as I'm looking good right now, we should be good to go for the next however long we're going here. But, yeah, I am ready to rock and roll, my friend. Obviously, we've got some stuff coming up. Nothing, I think only a couple NBA games tonight, some decent college basketball games tonight. Nothing too crazy tonight. But either way, I am ready to rock and roll, my friend.
I just, it's kind of comical as the night progresses. Last night, we do a lot of talking, and we have a lot of people that come in, they leave, come in, they leave. The ones that stick and stay get the real meat and potatoes. We got to the NBA last night, and I talked about the Warriors and how they mailed it in New York, and we were kind of kidding. Do they win by 20 or do they lose by 40? And, well, after one quarter, they were down 30. And they gave up 91 in the first half. And what really sticks out in last night's show is I said, Riley, it's a Pacer number when it came to the Celtics. And in come the Pacers, up 30 at one point. They hold on and they win. The Celtics now just crashing back to earth. And I had pre-warned all the locals, listen, you're ordering the duck boats, you're getting the parade route. Hey, it's a hell of a start, but just take yourself back to December, January, and early February last year when you hated your team, the coach sucked, Tatum and Brown can't play together, and then next thing you know, you're up 2-1 in the conference in the NBA finals. So anything can happen, and as you talked about in college hoop, when I was telling everyone, hey, slow it down on UConn here, just slow it down. A great start allows you to do so much, meaning you can work on rotations. You can work on stuff that you didn't think you were going to be able to have that flexibility because there's going to be some hiccups on the road. And what makes you a great team is how you handle the adversity, how you bounce back after a couple games that you do lose. That's why those undefeated football teams, it's real hard, or any sport. Go back to Gonzaga a few years ago.
Yeah.
When you don't lose a game or you're not tested or challenged, you don't know how you're going to respond. So go back to the Zags and Baylor in that championship game. Baylor came out 8-0, and then I think the next flash was like 13-2. The Zags never got off the mat. So great starts are great. What are you going to do when the tire hits the road? And we're seeing it right before our eyes with the locals and the Boston Celtics.
Right, and it's going to be interesting this weekend. I think they're off. They are off tonight. I think they play tomorrow night, and then they've got the Bucks on Christmas. So That'll be obviously, if anyone hasn't been paying attention to the NBA, Christmas Day is typically the point where they pop right in, obviously. But obviously, streaks like the Celtics had fall, you reach those people that are big sports fans and don't watch basketball up until this point. So, I think a lot of people still haven't realized outside of your area that the Celtics have been struggling the last week or two. And may possibly still be loading up on the Celtics on if it's Sunday on Christmas Day, whatever it is, and we'll see. That'll be a huge test, obviously, huge mid-season, early season test, whatever you want to call it. And the Bucks, I think lose to Cleveland last night. Not firing on all cylinders, but they're playing well. So if the Celtics don't show up ready to go, then Giannis and company's gonna roll in and smack him in the mouth on Christmas Day, I think.
College last night. ECSI VIPs 1-2 last night. Struggled the last couple nights with 1-2s. Our dog of the day was Florida State against Notre Dame. It was funny. I saw a 12-7 Florida State, and then I think Notre Dame went on like an 18-2 run. And then I'm saying to myself, yep, they're who we thought they were. And at halftime, we're down 1. I basically took control of the whole second half, up 5 and 6 most of the second half, and then had to hold on for not just to cover the outright win there. Mad at myself. I left the Dons on the table. They played Arizona State. Arizona State was ballooned up to 5.5. Been a big Dons fan the last few seasons. First flash I saw, the Dons were up 12, 14, 15, up 25. I think they won by 30. So with such a big menu, meaning college basketball, NHL, then you got your bowl games, then you got the NFL tonight. It's hard. That spaghetti strainer gets real hard. And that's why I love these shows, so I can talk out loud, because I don't release 5, 7, 8, 12 games a night. We really go 1 to 3 games. On a weekend, we'll go, on a Saturday, we'll go more. But tonight, 1 to 3 games. I got 2 right now I haven't released that I'm really eyeing.
Okay.
Searching for the third one. But again, as we had Andrew on this afternoon, and I'll be honest, I did not know Toronto, Philadelphia was going off at 2:00. And in the middle of our show, it's like, everyone get in on the under on that game. And it ended up landing on 7. So the early starts as college basketball going on. It's hard. It's hard to keep up with this.
No, I have not done anything today. I had a couple swings earlier in the day yesterday that fell through for college basketball and then bounced back a little bit. In the evening last night, you and I were both. I didn't go in as much as I'd like to on it, but the Raptors over the Knicks, that was the play of the night probably in the NBA, or unless obviously you had some of the big favorites winning by a million. Obviously, those were some good plays as well. At the end of the day, Villanova took care of business last night finally against a tough St. John's team. So interested to see if that's a springboard for Villanova there, and then. I know you said you actually called it. I wasn't sure what to think. As far as my Bulls, but the Bulls get the buzzer beater win for 2 in a row. So hoping to roll that momentum into the weekend, so we can get these bad press out of the way there. But aside from that, no, I'm with you. I mean, as far as football goes. The NFL game tonight shouldn't be, and maybe I think it is affected a little bit, but a lot of these. Another reason why you should, if you're going, certain people like to, on a day like today or tomorrow or Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, whatever it is, maybe they've got their sights set on, I've got X amount of dollars and I'm going to, gamble my face off, responsibly. But, there's certain days where maybe that's a good idea and maybe that's not a great idea. So it is good that we can, help that out. But as far as football goes this weekend, you obviously – in just about every situation, need to take a second look at the weather before you do whatever you're doing, because almost every game, maybe not, I know there's a couple that aren't, but almost every game, aside from the Dome games, obviously could have some type of effect on the football game with the weather that we're seeing this weekend.
And I think I was watching Sports Grid last night, and they were talking about the Cleveland game where the winds are going to be like the Buffalo game on Monday night against the Pats, where the Patriots threw the ball 3 times and it was just run. I mean, that total is at 31.5, 30, 32, something.
I saw $5 tickets for that game right now. I just saw, and someone posted on Twitter, you can get it for $5 to that one.
You pay more for parking than you do your seats.
I know.
So there's a lot of weather to take a look at, and it's the second week of the fantasy playoffs, and
Yeah.
I'm setting up lineups for any players that are going in tonight. I'm leaving Zay Jones on the bench. Why? Because I've played him once in the last month, and it was the 1 week he did nothing. I'm not chasing points. I have Josh Allen as my quarterback, and I have Justin Jefferson. I have Pittman. I have D Hop, and I'm using Gabe Davis in the flex. He's my separator. If I could ever get that 3, 4, 5 touchdown game, I will vault right towards the top and potentially a swing at 200K there. So we're staying out of this game in some of my smaller consolation rounds. I do have some Ingram. I do have some Zay Jones. I don't have any Jets currently as we speak. Woke up this morning, some Jet money coming in. That's gone from 1.5 now to 2.5 with a 36.5. Vegas has this pegged at 20-17 Jets. But I tell you, here's where my eyes are deceiving me, because Jacksonville team total right now is 17.5 juiced under minus 20 cents, and they're giving you the Jets at 19.5. Most people say, well, if I like the Jets, I might as well take the over in the team total because they can get to 20, 21, 23, 24. Well, they've given you that layup minus 110 for a reason. So the Jets win 17-13, 17-14, 17-10, 17-9, whatever you want to say. Or Jacksonville gets over that 17.5 and beat them 20-17. So
Yeah.
I have no stake in the game. We'll do some props in a second, but any thoughts on this game?
You and I are pretty damn close on line. It's 36.5 now. I caught a small little swing at 37.5 to the under. So I am hoping that for the, at max the 20-17 type game. I think it could be lower. I trust this Jets defense with their backs against the wall the way they are, and they played fantastic for most of the game against Detroit. It was obviously the late touchdown from the Lions on the 4th and inches, and obviously some rough offense at times. So, the one thing that's interesting is a lot of people are going to be from what they've seen from Zach Wilson right now. I can't fault them for it in some tough weather, assuming that he's going to be, pretty miserable. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. I think he might have whether it's him or just, taking the ball out of his hands as much as they can. One way or another, I think the wind is going to affect these teams a little bit here, and I think it's going under, and I'm leaning kind of towards what you said, maybe a 17-10, 17-13 type win for the Jets is where my heart is leaning towards right now.
Yeah, and it's kind of surprising because I said it last night, I said it this morning, I'll say it again. The Lions came in Sunday, short dogs, then favorites once Zach Wilson was announced. And then overnight and Sunday morning, in comes the Jet money. And, of course, they had the game won. They blew it at the end. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Everyone remembers the big comeback from Jacksonville against Dallas. Their offense is rolling. Trevor Lawrence is rolling. I'm kind of surprised to see this number move the way it did. I thought this would be probably a pros versus Joes, meaning the public would be on the Jaguars. I thought the sharper people would be on the Jets. Surprised that this number is at the 2.5.
Yes and no, a little bit. I think that's kind of part of where it leans to me as far as a lot of respect to the Jets defense, and maybe has almost nothing to do with Zach Wilson and the offense. It's I'm drawing a blank on I'll double check what the score was last week, but aside from that, that botch play at the end, they were playing fantastic defense against the Lions, at Red Hot Lions offense, and it was cold conditions, but it wasn't terrible conditions. So now you're getting a Jags team coming off of like you said, a huge offensive day against the Cowboys at home. Now you're going up to the cold, windy Thursday night game in the Jets. A lot of this for me is respect to the Jets defense, and that's where I'm fine buying into, with the added the wind and other elements in effect there. So a little bit surprised as far as, and kind of like you, I'm surprised because of the 2.5 that a lot more of the public isn't, all in on the Jaguars, especially with the narratives of, potentially being able to take the AFC South, at being able to grasp the division with a few wins here. And I think a lot of people would like to see that happen from the public. So I was surprised to see that not as much public buy-in, but I I think the line is kind of fair and given a lot of respect to the Jets defense, which I agree with.
Props, and more props tonight. Nose. On the Jacksonville side, I'm going to finally, and maybe this will help some of my brothers here, ETN touchdown.
As I told you, I think it was yesterday, I've got him benched in my lineup for my playoff game here for Tony Pollard, but he is plus 130. And so, no, I could see it. I like Travis Etienne a lot. It's just, some of that usage of him could be a little more aggressive there for him. But, no, he's plus 130. I don't dislike that at all. I had Zonovan Knight last week for the Jets, and he didn't get in, so I'll go with him, plus 150. But Etienne's the plus 130. That's the shortest odds for anybody on this entire board here. Then Zonovan Knight at plus 150. And then after that is Garrett Wilson plus 220, so which I'm going to stay away from. Who, sidebar, I'm a huge fan of this year. He's looked fantastic for them. I'm a big fan of his. But Christian Kirk 280, Elijah Moore 320, Zay Jones 340, Ingram 360. I think sticking with the running backs, if you're doing anything, would be where I'd go. But I might stay away from it altogether. But if you're doing anything, I think the running backs is probably the wisest move there.
I like Knight in a bounce back. Like you said, everyone was on him last week in the dailies. He had a bad game, and I expect him to bounce back. I think Wilson, I've been asked a few questions today whether to play him or wait. Actually, and the guys got Zeke or Wilson, and it was funny. I have them both projected at 15.2 points, and I was like, he's down 8 with 2 weeks to go. And I'm like, well, the safe play obviously is Zeke. I'm not saying it's not. Yeah. I said, Wilson's the guy that can get you the 30 burger. Zeke with Pollard there can't get you a 30 burger. So I think Wilson has a big game today. I don't know what is.
You mean Garrett Wilson?
Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, just for clear. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No Zach Wilson. No Garrett. Yeah. I don't. What is his receptions and what is his yards?
Yardage is 52.5 to receptions 4.5 with a plus 118 to the over.
I mean, I think those are both in reach. What's his for a touchdown? You said 330?
No, I think that one was he's the third shortest at 220.
220. Okay. And here's the long shot of the day. Someone that has fallen off of the grace, if I remember correctly. Uzomah has had the big days of late. What is Conklin touchdown?
I am actually glad you said it because I forgot about him and I was going to mention him because I had him in my fantasy playoff lineup last week and was very upset to see freaking CJ Uzomah into the damn end zone. Was it twice, right? Uzomah had 2 touchdowns, right? Yeah, and both times I see the big man with an 8 starting. I'm like, oh, is that Conklin? Is that Conklin? Both times, like, no, what the hell? But he is 5-1, and I can double down with that one. My problem with that one is, and I picked him back up. I had him originally picked him back up. He just hasn't had much success with Zach Wilson at all, and he's had more success with the other guys. But I do like that choice tonight, though. I could see it bouncing back a little bit, and 21.5 on the yardage total. I honestly might like that as well tonight.
Yeah, I think I saw earlier today 2.5 was his over/under on his receptions. Again, I like guys on a bounce back. That's why I think the Knight kid probably will find the end zone. I just like Wilson in the matchup. I think he'll do well today. Again, I don't know what Zach's going to do. I like Conklin, who's been nowhere to be found. Everyone remembers Uzomah the last couple days games. I think it's a sneaky spot for Conklin.
Well, here's the funny part. They on this app, at least I don't know the last time he's been posted, but they gave you after the 2 touchdowns, they posted a yardage total of 8.5, minus 110 both ways. So I'm sure people are going to be hammering his over after he catches 2 touchdowns last week. So there's a coin flip for you. A catch or 2 for Uzomah at minus 110, basically there.
And you know what? That's what kills me with Zay Jones. And I'm not lying. I have such a stacked team with him on one of these teams. Yeah. He can't crack the top 3 wide receivers. Now, you could put him in front of Gabe Davis. I get that part of it. But the fact is, I have Josh Allen, and I'm trying for the home run. So it is what it is. He's not going to be put in. in front of Jefferson. He's not going to be put in front of Pittman, who now sees another quarterback. He's not going to be put in front of D-Hop, who now sees another quarterback. And then I'm not chasing the points. And what really irks me with his big week last week, he only had 6 damn catches, 6 catches and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
So enough's enough, Zay. Zay it isn't so tonight, please.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you, and I've been trying to be mindful of that. My team that I'm rolling with in it's my fantasy championship for my dynasty league. It's a 10-team league, so teams are pretty deep. But I've got I've always the entire year I've had. Well, Justin Jefferson is always that's an auto start. That's no doubt there. But I've got Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb, Chris Godwin, and T. Higgins. So four stud receivers that I gotta typically leave one out. So. And for the most part, I've had success aside from maybe the couple of times T. Higgins has suspiciously not played at all or whatever the hell it is. But aside from that, well, I mean, but at the same time, it's usually between Godwin and T. Higgins. So in most cases, it's been fine. So and Godwin's in a dome this week, so I've got Godwin in my lineup right now.
Bowl game last night, I watching Sports Grid, and they were all in on South Alabama, and I thought I saw last flash I saw was 35-10. I don't know what the final was.
I'll double check for you because I suggested South Alabama, but I told you feel free to disagree with me. That was just a kind of a shot in the dark. 44-23 on that one, so I was wrong with that one, obviously.
I don't trust me. I had South Alabama on the desk. I was the same way as you. Tonight, Air Force and Baylor. This one kind of cracks me up because I have a 48.5 with a 7 on Baylor. Now it's a 43 and a 3.5. I don't know if you got splits in front of you. I'm looking at the injuries. Baylor, Gavin Holmes, wide receiver, questionable. I don't know who is left the building, who isn't. But that number screams to me 2 things. It's going to be a ground control, clock control from Air Force here. We know Baylor has the superior athletes.
Yeah.
Are they showing up for this, whatever the name of this bowl is? And this number screams to me Air Force.
Yeah, well, surprisingly enough, it's also this is actually terrible weather in Fort Worth, Texas tonight. It's as we speak right now, it's 14 degrees with 25-mile-an-hour winds. So that's as far as some of the dip that it is seeing there. I think is part of it. But no, I agree with you. I'm not diving in. If anything, I'll buy into another stinky weather game where they're not going to be able to throw much in this wind or cold, but yeah, this is one where you've got to test the motivations of either side on this one for sure. So I'm with you. It definitely feels like Air Force is the side in this one because Baylor, even at 6-6, I mean, I think a lot of their losses are to some teams that you would consider the better teams of the Big 12 there.
100%. Team totals 23 for Baylor, 20 for Air Force. They're not giving me any cues anywhere. Again, I don't see myself getting involved in this game. I don't. I would lean Air Force just on what's going on with the numbers. I assume when you talk about motivation, kind of tough for the armed forces not to be motivated versus a team that just shows up and, hey, coach, we made a bowl game. God bless us, and we're already on to next year. So I'm going to stay away at this point, but I would lean. Actually, let me take one look here just for poops and giggles and see where that number is. Air Force opened up minus 255 on the money line. Air Force plus 205. I'm sorry, Baylor minus 255. Air Force plus 205. Now at Circa, you can get Baylor minus 165 and Air Force plus 145. So again, it's at 3.5. You want to buy the hook to 4, sprinkle a little beer and pizza money on the 4 at plus 145. If you're at South Point, you can get them at plus 150 right now. If you needed to scratch an itch on the bowl game and you didn't want to watch the NFL.
Yeah, no, I can agree with that for sure. Baylor showing up to a 15-degree game. It's in state, but I can't imagine they're going to be too excited for that. I can definitely agree with you tonight on this one.
2 NBA games, Spurs at the Pelicans. I had an 11 with a 229.5 down to 8.5 and 228. And that is because Zion is doubtful. Ingram still doubtful. Larry Nance Jr. questionable. Jacob Poeltl is probable. And
Jakob Poeltl.
Jakob there you just what I was about to say. Jakob and Keldon Johnson is doubtful. Just I see nothing in that game.
No, and I've told you, and I've had some success with the Spurs and kind of a sneaky 8.5 spot against a good team. But Kellen Johnson has kind of been a key for me as far as if he's in and they've got a spot like this, then I had some success, and he's been, he's a really high scorer. But when you take him out in there, they're pretty miserable across the board. Even with them, they're pretty miserable. But especially you take him out, that's a 20-point score that you take away. So I agree with you. I'm not wouldn't surprise me if the Spurs are frisky there, but I'm staying far away, especially with Zion out. If Zion was in and this was the line, then I would say Spurs all day. But it doesn't appear to be the case, so I'll stay away from that one.
9-10, rotation number 553, 554, Washington at the Jazz. I have a 229 with a 6.5. Now currently 230.5 for the 6.5. Susie Chapstick, Porzingis questionable with an illness, Olenek doubtful, and Colin Sexton questionable.
Man, that's interesting. If Porzingis is in, I would like him to have a nice night against this Utah front. But if he's not, then it's a little different story for me there. But no, I don't know. With the questionables, that's a little tricky there. I don't like that matchup much at all. I guess I'll lean with the Wizards against a Jazz team that's kind of fading a little bit here. But actually, you know what? The Wizards lost however many in a row, and then finally just got the win the other night. So maybe this is a get two in a row situation here. I was actually looking at that the other day and thinking if they didn't do it against the Suns, this might be the spot where they do it. And then obviously if they beat the Suns, then I might be interested again here for them today. So I'll say maybe the Wizards get it done here, but I would have respected it more if it was a little lower than 6.5 here. That seems a little fishy to me there.
I agree. College hoops, there's a handful of games. Headliners, there's not a lot of headliners. Butler,
don't sleep on Missouri obviously has played above their skis, but Illinois, Missouri, at least from a rivalry standpoint, one of the more underrated rivalries that nobody really talks about, and maybe I'm just saying that from my neck of the woods. The last 10 years, it's lost some luster, but when I was growing up, my brother used to go to Illinois. Both these programs, were perennial top 25 programs. This matchup was really, really, really fun to watch, and you get them on a neutral court in Missouri, 50-50 crowd, and it was a playoff atmosphere. And now Missouri 10-1, so I'm interested to see if that's the atmosphere we get tonight. Obviously storm, so I'm not sure what the situation is there. But I don't know. Does this feel like a statement line for Illinois against a 10-1 Missouri team, or more respect to Missouri? I like Illinois in this spot here, but if you want to disagree with me, obviously I'm a little biased with Illinois.
No, I think, I have a 5.5 with a 156. The public is going to jump. Illinois has been a lightning rod for a couple of years now. So they see that they're going to flock to it. It's 6.5 with a 152.5 at DraftKings. You know what? Tis the season. I'll tip my hand just one here. Ken Palm has the final here, number one ranked game of 82-77. So basic math is 159. Okay. All right. I got over 152.5 Illinois and Missouri tonight. And okay. That is going to be a VIP. So everyone that's not a VIP tonight, Merry Christmas. That will be one of our plays tonight. Shop around. Like I says, I got 152 in a hook. If you got 153, want to buy the hook, please do. Ken Palm has this at 159. Our numbers have this again at where's my eyes? At 156.5. So we're going to follow Ken Palm here and hope for a lot of points. And as you said, by the way, Missouri, even in their dark days, we've cashed a lot of money on Missouri. I've been able to pick some great spots. They had a wagon a couple years ago where they got off to an amazing start, and they're fun to watch. And as you said, this is for bragging rights. This is for recruiting. This is a lot at stake. And right before Christmas, this is a must-watch game, by the way.
Yeah, no, like I told you, it's one of the it loses some animosity because the fan bases don't really have much animosity towards each other for whatever reason. We don't, it doesn't cross paths a ton, and obviously, especially now that Missouri's moved to the SEC. But growing up, this matchup, football and basketball, was always had a lot of buzz to it, and the last 10 years it's gone south, but. Hopefully it picks back up now that Illinois is obviously reestablished, and hopefully Missouri can get back into at least not be in the dumpsters like they were the last 5-6 years or so, because it was ugly there for a few years. But I agree with you. Any other games going on tonight that you had any interest in? Does Louisville finally bounce back? 17.5-point dogs at NC State. It is rough sledding right now. So I'm gonna keep my money, but no faith at all there for Louisville tonight.
I mean, that's a statement on the NC State side.
17.5.
NC State is not that good this year. Or I shouldn't say that. They have some talent. They're not playing well. And let me just scroll down here. Ken Palm's got them at 49. They lost to Kansas by 6. They lost to Pitt by 8. They lost to Miami by 7. 3 losses. They're coming off a Furman win and a Vanderbilt win. Now in comes Louisville. They had won 2 in a row against Western Kentucky and Florida A&M. They just lost to Lipscomb by 8. So I'm just gonna, for poops and giggles here, they lose opening day to 261 ranked Bellarmine, then 215 Wright State, then 216 App State. Okay, number 10 Arkansas, number 34 Texas Tech, number 71 Cincinnati, number 23 Maryland, number 41 Miami of Florida. There you go, TJ. I gave you a shout out. 150 Florida State. So again, you had some bad losses, and then you lost to just better teams. You got 2 wins under your belt. You can't lose to Lipscomb, guys. You can't.
No, absolutely not. Especially after you finally get the monkey off your back and win a couple. If that was your first loss of the year or something like they had with Bellarmine, then okay, you can bounce back from that. But no. But a 17.5, I'm not interested whatsoever. But like you said, that's a bit of a statement there. I know you mentioned it kind of. Creighton and Butler feeling like maybe this is a time for Creighton to kind of take off a little bit here, / maybe Butler start to slip a little bit.
I had a 6 with a 138 and a hook. It's now up to as high as 142 with an 8. I would rather have seen the opening number of 8 and see if the public went on the Butler side. They set it at 6 for a reason. The public that's lost a ton of money on Creighton is just going to keep pushing that number up. People remember the shellacking Saturday that Butler took to UConn. Let me see here on Ken Palm. Creighton, where are you? Game can't be this far down.
The 29th, if that's what you're looking for.
There's Creighton right now. They had started 6-0, really didn't play anyone. St. Thomas, North Dakota, Holy Cross, UC Riverside. Big wins against Texas Tech and Arkansas. So now everyone's like, this is the 40-1, 31, the 20-1 team that we all thought, Mr. Matt Peralt. And then in comes losses to Arizona and Texas. That's okay. Yeah. But you can't lose by 10 at Nebraska. I'm sorry, you can't. Nope. Okay. And then you go and lose by 3 to BYU, by 2 to Arizona State. And I like this Marquette team, and they just lost by 11. So this is supposed to be a get-well spot. Now, Butler losses to Penn State, Tennessee, NC State, and they just lost to UConn. I'll go on record here, and I'll just say Creighton wins, Butler covers. That's what I'll say.
Okay. I can definitely hear that. Yeah, I think Butler's going to slip at some point, but if you want to tell me, like you said, if you want to tell me Butler's going to keep this close and cover, I am not going to fault you by any means. Would like to see it from Creighton for sure. Aside from that Nebraska loss, all those losses, if they were just one-off losses, those would be okay losses, like you said. But string, 6 in a row now, obviously is looking ugly. So, holding out that they'll turn things around eventually, obviously. Let's see. The late night game, Pepperdine and Hawaii, 4.5. Any love for the Warriors there, Hawaii at home?
Where did you see that one? Oh, there it is, right there at 11:30. What do we
Yeah.
have? I had a 4 with a 139.5. It's now 4.5 with a 141. Uh Ken Palm has Hawaii 72-68, the final. Spot on, of course. Let me see here. Hawaii, 3 losses, one to Yale, Texas A&M Commerce, and UNLV. And Pepperdine comes in at 6-5. Cal State Fullerton, UCLA, Nevada, UC Santa Barbara, Grand Canyon. They just beat a non-ranked Cal State, Los Angeles, 92-69. I lean Pepperdine just on talent. Hawaii. I'll give you a funny story. Handful of years ago, Hawaii hosted Christmas tournaments, and I could not pick them if I had tomorrow's newspaper. I would go against them, they'd win outright. I'd go against them, they'd win outright. Then I'd go with them, they'd lose by double digits. And so they've kind of been my thorn in the side, and I'm so glad they're not like they're out of my way on Christmas Day and all that other stuff. So I'm going to go upset there. I like the dog in that one.
Okay, I'll go against you there. Every once in a while I have some success on the island. Those late night games. I don't know. Right before Christmas, Pepperdine's looking ahead to Christmas. They've got Gonzaga next week on Christmas or New Year's Eve. So I'll go Hawaii. At least getting the win. If you want to say they cover Pepperdine, then I'll. And obviously, who the hell am I with this one? I don't know. I'm just going on record giving it to Hawaii there. Any other games in college basketball? What about Yale and Monmouth? 1-11 Monmouth, only 13.5-point dog to Yale. Is that one a little fishy to you there?
Monmouth's that bad this year. I think UConn beat them by a bazillion. Let me go and scroll there for that. That's got to be way down here tonight. Because I do have one left. I have a sneaky game left for you, which no one's talking about. And again, I've been spot on these, but this one I'm a little leery of, but I'll give it to you in 1 second. Yale, you said. Yale, Ken Palm has them 76-62. They got them by 14. Losses to Colorado, Butler, and Kentucky. They're at 9-3, ranked 79th in Ken Palm. Monmouth, 1 win this year against Manhattan. Their losses: Seton Hall, Virginia, Illinois, Norfolk State, Colgate, Cornell, Lehigh, Rider, Princeton, Syracuse, Charlotte. I can see where your eyes are. They got 14 here. Would you say it's out here? 11?
I see 13.5.
13.5. We'll chuckle and we'll take the dog here. How's that?
Yeah, no, I'm not rushing to the window putting my hard-earned money on this Monmouth team. I promise you that. But it was at least fishy. 345th team. Maybe people are trying to headhunt on these after Eastern Illinois gets the win yesterday. Maybe people are trying to headhunt these teams in the 300s there for some big upsets. But I don't know. Looked fishy to me is all I was thinking there.
All right, 7:00 tonight. Western Kentucky plays at South Carolina. Okay, now just the breakdown here. You got 127 Western Kentucky and South Carolina. So here's your Western Kentucky team, who is 8-2. They lost to Akron and they just lost to Louisville. And I wish they didn't lose to Louisville, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
South Carolina now, who is now 5-6. They've lost 2 in a row to UAB, East Carolina. They got a loss to George Washington. They got a loss to Furman, Davidson, Colorado State. Overnight number was 1.5, Western Kentucky.
I can get on board with you on that one. I can get on board with that one for sure.
Now, I know this game could get ugly just like the Florida State last night. Trust me.
Yeah,
I know they can get ugly. It was like on Monday night, and I had Nebraska Omaha against Denver. I knew that game could get ugly, and we ended up winning by 17. Florida State, I thought, would get ugly. It did early. They found a way, and they won the game outright. Now, if the Hilltoppers are out there gunning from downtown and they're 8 for 10 from 3, just thanks for playing. It is what it is. But the line overnight was 1.5. The Publix pushed it to 2.5. I bought the hook to 3. I also got them plus 122 on the money line for some pizza and beer action.
Okay.
The number reached the holy hill.
No, I kind of caught my eye on it and then I let it go there, but I can definitely get on board with you on that one. I like that one's 6 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock your time, SEC Network. Yeah, I can definitely get on board with you on that one. I could definitely like that one.
That's all my eyes saw there. In the hockey tonight, gave out team total Ducks yesterday over 2.5 plus 110. They get the first goal against the Wild. I'm all excited. Then we get 7 penalties called on us versus 2, and the last 5 of the game. So we got no more goals there. There is 7 games today. 1 is already complete. Leafs win 4-3 against the Flyers. Bruins at home against the Jets. Too steep for me. Washington at Ottawa. We had Ottawa on Tuesday, and they lost. Keep an eye on Ottawa tonight. You can get them plus 115 at DraftKings, 117 at Circa. They're playing the Capitals. Keep an eye on the Senators tonight. Some good late night action. Kraken against Vancouver, Flames and Kings, and then the Wild on a back-to-back versus the Sharks. Anything else, sir?
I don't think so. I don't think so. Any NFL that you're interested in this weekend at this point that you wanted to get off your chest today? I mean, if it's too early, it's too early. Obviously, like I said, lots and lots of weather going on this weekend. What's the update on the Patriots game for weather come Saturday at about noon? Anything crazy?
Cold.
Cold.
Got 2 to 3 inches of rain coming tonight and tomorrow. High 50, 60, 70 mile an hour winds. Wake up Saturday morning and it'll be 7 degrees. So it's going to be freeze, and more freeze. So it'll be cold. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay. No, that seems like just about everywhere. I think there was a couple of dome games, and I think San Francisco is looking nice. And aside from that, the Dallas-Philly games in a dome everywhere. Yeah, so many other games, and obviously a couple stinkers on Christmas Day kind of stinks. But hopefully my Pack can keep the optimism alive in Miami this on Sunday at noon. So that is obviously what I'll be holding out hope for, and and then I'll probably switch over to the old MDA after the Packers game there.
Thought process. Give me. Actually, I might as well ask you on the air. Assumption, you will be leaving the building till Monday/Tuesday?
I will be home Sunday night on Christmas night. So obviously, if you've got stuff going on, then that's fine. But I will be available as soon as Monday.
Okay, so you'll be available Monday. So after the show, we won't see you till after Christmas.
That is right. And TJ's saying Packer game. I think you mean Dolphins game. We shall see, my friend. We shall see. I've still got a little bit of optimism there. So hopefully we can bring some cold weather down there.
Well, I have a 48 and a 5 on that game. It's down to 3.5 and a 51.
I didn't. I think it was like 48, either 48 and a half or 49 and a half this morning when I was looking at the total. So that's interesting.
It's up to 50.
I was surprised that it jumped up. I was seeing that it might be a little rainy at that game time. So interested to see how that works. Have we seen? And TJ, if you know, feel free to speak up. Have we seen Tua in any type of elements throughout his career at all, or has he mostly been warm weather and domes throughout his career?
He looked pretty good on Saturday in Buffalo.
Oh yeah, of course. There you go. Yeah.
He looked pretty damn good
right.
there.
Yeah, that is right. I was just trying to think.
The week before in LA. 65, 70 degrees. He looked like ass. He couldn't throw from me to you with a hook and lateral. Yeah. So that was kind of comical there, but I'm seeing a lot of movement on Green Bay, and that's kind of opening my eyes. I mean, Circa now has it at a flat 4 and a 50.
You know what? I just saw about an hour or two ago some Packers media personality that I just wrote. Based on the betting markets on a neutral field right now, there's only 8 or 9 teams that would be favored over the Packers right now. So the Packers, the way they're trending, based on the betting markets, it looks like they would be favored over 20 of the teams. So take that for whatever it's worth. And I don't know, how it was. The Vikings and Lions are one of the two of the teams that they're favored over. So it's 6 teams for sure, and then the other 3, I guess, are up to conversation. But I've got some optimism, my friend. Honestly, I've complained about the Packers' soft coverage all season long, but this is the one team that I actually think this is the team that's kind of beneficial against, and they've done it at least with Tyreek Hill when he was in Kansas City. That they had success, a relative success at least, like keep them in the game, and as long as their offense is working, then they won a couple games against them with some soft coverage against Tyreek Hill. So. It's going to be on the offense to keep pace and hopefully put up a nice amount of points to get the win for the Pack there on Sunday.
I'm just looking here. The Patriots, I'll give a quick breakdown. The Patriots 3-40 is now 3-41.5, 42. Smells to high heaven. That's all I can tell anyone.
Oh, yeah.
It just smells to high heaven. You talked about the perception of Green Bay.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the perception of the Bucs and Tom Brady. Here's where this makes no sense. Burrow and the Bengals went into Tampa 3.5-point favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they're coming to New England only 3-point favorites.
Yeah.
So you're telling me the Patriots are better than the Bucs? I don't think so.
I also don't think so. That one definitely smelled. I was looking at that one, and I mean that's not only does that smell based on what we've seen, but the Bengals have as much public positive grace right now as just about anybody right now. So I'm a little hesitant with that and the way the weather is. I've got a red hot Joe Burrow for my as my fantasy quarterback that I've been riding with most of the season, but I've got Dak Prescott in the dome. On Saturday, that sitting on my bench, so I'm overthinking, curious if I should make a switch and go with Dak. But Joe Burrow is too hot to sit down. I've
You
been riding
do
him all season
not
long.
sit Joe Cool. Don't ever sit Joe Cool.
I know. So yeah, I know. I'm not. But the fishiness of that line concerned me a little bit. I will not lie.
Closing thoughts, sir.
No, nothing crazy, my man. I'm get ready to get started. Past the holiday season. Everyone, obviously, tread lightly on these games. NFL or football, college and NFL, especially with the way these weather are. Make sure you have an understanding before you blindly go in, expecting a certain game to have a 35-30 score, and then you pull it up and it's 25-mile-an-hour winds. Obviously, teams can still score through those conditions, but you got to do your due diligence there. So aside from that, everyone travel safe. Happy holidays. I've got keep me in your thoughts tonight as far as my travel and the rest of my family goes, because it is looking like it's getting nasty out here right now. So. And it's not too cold right now, but it's apparently going to get real. Obviously, you saw the conditions for the Bears and Bills. It's about to get real windy and real cold. So trying to beat all of that and get through it tonight, and hopefully able to be cozy and warm the rest of the weekend. But everyone travel safe if you're dealing with some weather, and obviously if it's if it's too daunting and if it's too dangerous, then obviously wait or make other plans. So. Happy holidays as always. I'm ready to get rolling with obviously next week, and then we'll be into the new year and talking about some playoff college and NFL football that I cannot wait for, my friend. So I'm ready to rock with that.
Yeah, the bowl games really kick off. I want to thank everyone that's been watching us religiously. One more week of 2022, 2023. I've been reading up Massachusetts really getting into high gear. I read this just before we started the show. Encore, BetMGM, Plainfield, and I think one other got the okay for January 31st. That's what I had heard before. They're going to try to be 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. I actually think that's only a week, but what do I know? They'll be up and.
Sorry to cut you off. I think the Super Bowl is A little. I could be wrong, but I think it might be like it seems like a week later than it usually is. I think.
Okay. So then that would give them the 2 weeks. They're going to do some trials 2 weeks prior to that. And from there, the mobile apps will be ready in March for March Madness. So Massachusetts is going to be a full-fledged train wreck.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone crawling out of the woodwork. So it's going to be interesting. I will give you guys daily updates. And then what's going on in Mass. I'll have my own stories for you. We're about an hour, 10 minutes from the Encore. We're about 50 minutes from Raynham. We're about an hour, 10 minutes from Plainbridge. So, I mean, there's three and, within a distance.
Yeah.
I don't know if Mass is going to approve the kiosks. And if they do, that's a whole nother world as well, where we could actually have a few kiosks in our own studio here. I'll never have to leave the building, but the apps will be fine. Doing a lot of stuff with Julian from DraftKings, have some of the big companies reaching out to us. I have no idea who we'll attach our ass to, but everyone here, just be prepared because it's going to be fun in 2023.
Oh, yeah. I cannot wait. And obviously, yeah, Mass getting rolling. And there's obviously a few states. I'm hoping Wisconsin to my north gets going so I can get some more Packer betting following. They're still a little green up there. But and I'm hoping Circa can get to Illinois anytime soon here. I think they're in the plans eventually here. So I'm excited for that when that does come. And then hoping to be able to bet on Illinois teams legally, Illinois college teams here anytime soon. That would be nice for my liking over here. But aside from that, no, I'm ready to rock and roll for 2023 as well, my friend.
Everyone have a safe evening. Everyone in these storms, listen, get out, get your eggnog, get your eggs, get your whatever you need. Just get in and get out.
Yeah.
Any last second Christmas shopping. If you can't get out, just hit the Amazon button. Just write a quick note, say, hey, it was the Amazon driver's fault. They'll get it on Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah.
Don't put your life at risk for whatever. So, or gift cards, they're your friend too. So
Yeah.
enjoy the night. ECSI, watch my timeline. I don't know tomorrow. It's that time of year. So I don't think we'll be doing any live shows. I have a couple pre-recorded shows tomorrow. And then Saturday on Christmas Eve, I might just pop on live for a quick 2 seconds because I can get out of the house after I make my homemade baked mac and cheese for the party. And then Sunday, Christmas Day, I won't bother anyone. And then we'll be back on Monday and we'll get things going. So from myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Investor, from the one and only Riley Magnuson at Riley_Magnuson, the one, we wish everyone a safe and happy Merry Christmas. Listen, take it from someone with experience, okay? These times are precious. You don't know if they're going to be there next year. Both my parents are not with me, okay? So if you have a mom or a dad that's with you and you don't get along, you don't talk to them, pick up the damn phone, will you? Say hello, Mom, Dad, I miss you, I love you, I'm sorry, because you just don't know. And don't take anything for granted nowadays. I mean, you can see in a blink of an eye on social media what's going on. So everyone have a great night. Behave yourselves. And if you need us, find us. Otherwise, we will see you soon.